Hey, somebody's got to string the cheese. You did? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to the Professional Noticer.
Are you the board-certified tutor?
Creating measurable results for people like you and families like yours. I am the Professional Noticer.
We have a big show for you tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. Here I field questions about business, spiritual issues, popular culture, and why books on anti-gravity are so hard to put down. My purpose here today, and with every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life you would live if all your toughest questions were answered. This week, our sponsor on the Professional Noticer is Kamado Joe Premium Ceramic Grills. You know, these are my grills. I've had other grills in my lifetime. For a long time, I had the kind of grill that my daddy used when I was growing up. One of those charcoal things where you spray this stuff on it and then stand back and throw a match at it. Everybody in the neighborhood knew when my dad was grilling outside. It's like, oh, there's the mushroom cloud over the Andrews house. And I had one of those for a while. Then I had a gas grill. Everybody had a gas grill. I had a gas grill. But I got to thinking, man, why does this food not taste like my daddy used to cook? And, of course, it's because a gas grill is just cooking with heat. You know, you might as well cook it inside. There's no taste. But then I got a Kamado-style grill, and I used it for a long time. Really, really liked it. But then I found the Kamado Joe. Oh, my gosh. Well, it was created by a couple of guys who had a realization about grilling. I mean, they loved it, and they knew there had to be a better way to grill than they were. There was, and there is. As it turned out, these guys had the ability that allowed them to design and develop what is truly a better grill. And the circumstances were perfect for them to bring that grill to us. The Kamado Joe, in all its sizes and with its specialized tools. Hey, did you know that Santa Claus brought me a Joe-tisserie for Christmas? Kamado Joe is the world's best ceramic cooker. Check out KamadoJoe.com or look for a dealer near you. So observations and answers here on the Professional Noticer. That's what we do. I deliver the observations. You provide the questions. And questions are a critical component of the person you and I aspire to become. Always remember the quality of your answers can only be determined by the quality of your questions. So ask good questions. Our first question today is from Scott. He's from Maryland. Let's listen.
Hi, Andy. This is Scott from Maryland. First, I'd like to thank you for sharing your amazing story and life insights. My question that I struggle with is my forgiving heart. I acknowledge that I must take responsibility for all my actions all the time. But with that said, my question is that I struggle with wanting to let other individuals know how their actions have had a negative impact on my family. Am I simply to forgive them for they may not know what they have done? I do believe that's the correct policy, but I find it very frustrating. The best personal example I can give is that once I made a constructive criticism of a coworker. Because of their own personal lack of confidence, they made a big deal of my constructive criticism. What I was unaware of until recently is that person's complaints about me to management resulted in my wife not getting a promotion. She was clearly the best candidate, but the person doing the hiring didn't want my spouse being influenced by me. That individual I originally spoke to was not even aware of how her reaction and comments resulted in my wife not getting the promotion. So am I supposed to just let it go? I want to tell the individual how her actions affect others, but I refrain from this teachable moment. As it turns out, my wife soon learned she was pregnant and that not getting the job has been a blessing in disguise. Thank you again for your feedback and your input.
Okay, Scott, thank you so much for your question. I got several comments about this. I think we all struggle with our forgiving hearts. I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with. I gotta say, though, you are struggling with it even though you know the answer, okay? You know that you got to take responsibility for your actions all the time. Now, we're going to get back to that one. But you say that your struggle is in wanting to let individuals know how their actions have had negative effects on their family. And you ask the specific question. You say, am I just supposed to forgive them? Just they don't even know what's happened and I'm supposed to forgive them? And the answer, you already know, not yes. Yes, you are. All right, now, this doesn't mean that you have to do anything with the person or that you don't have to choose them for your team or anything like that. But do you forgive them? Yes. I mean, at this point, you say they don't know what they've done, that this individual is not even aware of how her reaction and comments resulted in your wife not getting the promotion. She's not even aware. Okay, well, let me just tell you something, Scott. Whoever that woman is, she is sleeping peacefully every night, unaware that you're even been out of shape. So at that point, whose life is this affecting most? It's affecting yours. Scott, your wife is pregnant. You are in a position in your life where peace in your family and peace at home are certainly needed, if not required. And so holding this grudge is not going to help anybody. It's not going to change her. It's not going to change your situation. Now, I'm going to skip right to the end of what I have to say here first, okay? Because what I want you to realize that you already know is your last line that you said, Scott, your wife is pregnant. Not getting the job was a blessing. If you could choose now whether she got the job or didn't get the job, right now you would choose the blessing, right? That she didn't get the job. Okay, so what is it that you're so concerned about? Is it that you're concerned because somebody is running around out there and they don't know the right way to do things? Now, I got to call you on something here, okay? You said that you had a constructive critique of a coworker, and because of their own personal lack of confidence, they made a big deal of your constructive criticism. Okay, here's what I'm going to call you on, Scott. You don't really know that this person has a personal lack of confidence. And you don't really know that's why they made a big deal of your constructive criticism. Is it possible that your critique of your coworker wasn't as constructive as you thought it was? Because whatever happened, this woman was not happy after she got this constructive criticism, okay? And so she was so unhappy that her complaints about you to management affected your wife. And it affected your wife because of you. You say your wife was the best candidate, but the person doing the hiring did not want her influenced by you. So whatever was said, whatever was done, listen, I totally get that sometimes people just take things the wrong way, that there's sometimes it's just a tough thing to pull off. But in a working environment, whoever's listening to this today, in a working environment, I want you to understand you really have two choices. Unless you want to, if you're going to criticize somebody, or if you're going to call somebody to task for the way they're doing something, or how it's happening, or when it's you've really got two choices. Okay, one of them is to figure out a way to say what you have to say in such a friendly and loving way that they cannot possibly take offense. Now, the best way to do that, okay, so there's like point one. Now, under point one, the best way to do that is by asking questions. I was wondering, when I'm looking at how we're doing such and such, is this getting the best so-and-so? Or, are we figuring the best? Should I, I don't do what you do. Why? Help me figure out. I mean, is this something I should do? Because I want to get the best results. I know there is a way that you can ask loving questions without sounding like a prosecuting attorney. That you can ask them, as if you are looking to find the wisdom, and as you ask these questions, many times people come to a realization of their own, but you got to do it in a loving, patient way. And sometimes it doesn't happen in just one or two conversations. Sometimes it happens over a period of a week or two or a month. But that's one option that you have. But the other option is to keep your mouth shut. I see a lot of times people who think their criticism is constructive when they really shouldn't have said anything at all, because it's not, maybe the information is constructive, but the way it is delivered is offensive. Now, Scott, I don't know what you told her. I have no idea what you told her. I have no idea how critical what she was doing wrong that you wanted her to do. I don't know how critical that was to what you guys do. The only thing I know from your story is that she was not happy when you were through talking to her. I gotta say, I want to apologize before I even say this, but my job here is to tell the truth for everybody. Okay, I'm not trying necessarily to give you constructive criticism. My job is to tell you the truth. Okay, now hopefully this will be a little bit constructive, but there was something that you said toward the end that kind of made my hair stand up. And what it was you said something like, I want to tell this person how her actions affect others, but I have refrained from sharing this teachable moment with her. Dude, that smacks of arrogance. Okay? And maybe that's what came across when you talked to her in the first place. But, if somebody said to me, yeah, I have something I was going to say, but I have refrained from sharing the teachable moment with you, I'd go, oh, well, aren't you kind? Thank you very much. I'm sorry that I didn't allow you the teachable moment because you're so much smarter than I am. I mean, I would probably give some kind of sarcastic answer like that because it sounds like an arrogant thing. So, no, there's nothing you can do or should do except forgive. Okay? And the bottom line, Scott, is I think you got a great deal. Your wife is pregnant. You guys are going to have a baby. You already know that not getting that job was a blessing in disguise. Wow. Isn't it amazing how so many times we try to create the turns and to bulldoze the pathway to a certain thing. And man, we can screw up and we can get lost. And isn't it amazing how many times the best thing that happens, it is given to us as a blessing despite all our wrong turns and all our nervousness and all our anxiety. So Scott, you got a great deal. It's all good, man. It's all good. So I think your answer is, or the words that you should have in your mind, in your heart, maybe on your lips, is just thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the grace and the mercy. I had somebody say to me the other day, they really didn't say it directly to me. I was just kind of standing nearby, and this person was somewhat angry, and they said something like, I don't deserve this. It's not what I deserve. And it ran through my mind, wow, I don't really want what I deserve. I'm into mercy. I'm into grace. I don't really want what I deserve. That would probably not be good. Thanks, Scott, very much. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer. Here we're harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. Our next question is from Robin. She's from Southern California. Let's listen.
Hi, Andy. It's Robin from Southern California. I'm a married mother of 3 sons. Our twins are 14 years old and our youngest is 12. They are kind, hardworking, and well-mannered, blessed with good health, strong minds, and are gifted athletes. They are our pride and joy. As a devoted mom who came late to this important job, I've always tried to parent them with the goal of raising great men, knowing that, God willing, they will be adults way longer than they'll be kids. I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years, volunteering in their classrooms and providing leadership through their Cub Scout and Boy Scout years. Now I work nearly full-time as a photographer, but I'm carpool mom on school mornings, which includes a couple of their friends. It's a short commute, perhaps 10 to 15 minutes, depending on weather and traffic. Like most kids their age, they'll typically jump in the car with phone in hand, already scrolling social media, playing a game, or watching a video. On several occasions, I've asked them to turn off their screens, asking them to share about their weekend or listen to a podcast or a news update together. But I'm not diligent in this practice, and like many boys, they don't like talking very much and would plainly rather be on their phones. I know this is brief but valuable time each day, so I wish to give them something positive with laughter, wisdom, or perspective before they take on the world of 8th grade each day. I really wish there was a brief podcast, blog, or video feed that was age-appropriate, something fun yet thought-provoking and that they would look forward to. Got any suggestions to direct me towards something already out there? Got any advice on how I might develop such a thing if it isn't? Thank you for your time and all you do to help us be better versions of ourselves.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you very much. And also, thank you for that last line. I like that. I like the thought that I might be doing that. I hope people become better versions of ourselves. That's certainly what I'm attempting on my own self every day. Wow. You say you came late to this important job. Polly and I certainly understand that. We feel like we came late to this important job of parenting as well. And I always think that while there are some benefits of being a young parent, I'm glad that I was an older parent, or that I am an older parent. I think that I'm a lot more patient in some areas. I think there's maybe a little more opportunity for wisdom as we grow and get older. But your twins you got twins? They're 14. Your youngest is 12, all boys. That's great. Polly always says, thank God we had boys. And she was scared to have boys because Polly had a younger sister. She never knew anything about boys, and she was scared to death. And I said, hey, if we have boys, boys are easy. They're easy. And, for the most part, they are. So you got 10 or 15 minutes in the car with them. Hey, let me skip to your one of your last questions, and I want to say, you asked for any suggestions to direct you toward anything out there. There will be. I haven't talked about this at all yet, but I have been working. We have been working here in my office for almost a year on something that's going to be released very, very soon. That will be an ongoing platform, and it is going to provide a lot of what you are wanting. Okay, you're wanting something that's age appropriate, something that's brief, something that's a video feed, something on audio feed. You just wait. Okay, so wherever we are, I don't even have a calendar near me. I'm lucky I know what month it is, but within a couple of months, you're going to be hearing some amazing stuff that you'll have an opportunity to be a part of. You know how you have asked, Robin, because you see them, you just like you say, they jump in the car, they got their phone in the hand, or already scrolling social media, and you've got other kids in the car. These are not just your kids, you've got other kids, and their parents are raising them a certain way, and their parents are telling them certain things they can do and certain things they can't do. And so here you are, and several times you've asked them to turn off their screens. Good for you. You've asked them to share about their weekend or listen to a podcast or a news update together. Good for you. Now, you say you're not diligent in the practice. And like many boys, they don't like talking very much and would plainly rather be on their phones. You say that you're not diligent in the practice. You know why you're not diligent in the practice? Because you don't know what to say. Because you're right. This is valuable time every day, and you want to give them something cool, something fun, something positive, some laughter, wisdom, something that they can go into the day with. And so, I'm not being rude or silly, but oftentimes, you don't have them turn the phones off. Or you sometimes maybe have them turn off and then you let them turn it back on because you don't know what else to say. Here's what I want to urge you to do. Right now, or as soon as this podcast is over, you don't have to pull off the side of the road if you're listening to it in the car, but very quickly, today, I want you to grab a pen and paper and jot down a few notes. And here's what the notes should be. I want you to jot down questions. Just questions. And these questions are going to be questions about their day, about their friends, about their teachers. Now, I'm going to give you some fun ones, okay? But I totally understand what you are going through, okay? Because Austin, our oldest, I would pick him up from school or take him to school. And taking him to school. So what is it that you guys are going to do today in school? Well, same stuff. Okay, but do you have any tests? Yes, sir. What do you have tests in? I have a test in science. Are you ready for it, Austin? Yes, sir. What is the test about? Dad, it's about science. It's like, oh my gosh, I understand what you're, because then you pick him up from school. How did everything go today? Fine. Anything unusual happen? No, sir. Did you learn anything interesting? Well, just kind of stuff. Oh, listen, Robin, do I ever know what you're going through? And so at first, I started just going through the periods. I would say, okay, Oz, you and I are going to talk, dude. And if you're not going to come up with something to talk about, I'll come up with something to talk about. Okay, so tell me about first period. Who's your teacher? He would say it. And I say, so now, is she short or tall? And he would say, and is she funny or is she not funny? And he would get to where he was like, oh, Dad. But I would, man, we're going to talk. And I say, you got to learn how to talk. You got to learn how to communicate. And, this probably wasn't the best thing to do, but I kind of didn't know what to do. And so I knew we had to talk. So finally, I started developing some questions. We started using them at the dinner table, but they quickly became of great use in the car. And so here are some of the questions. Who is the funniest person at school? And that's a great question to ask a bunch of boys, okay? Because a bunch of boys will have a couple of different ideas about who the funniest are. Why do you think they're funny? What's the funniest thing that happened in school today? Or what's the funniest thing that happened this week? And by the way, as you're developing these questions, you're asking boys, Robin. So just understand that you're going to get the answer. Sometimes you're going to get this answer, I don't know. And so your answer to I don't know is going to be a smile and go, oh, that's good. Okay, but let me ask you this. If you did know, right? I mean, you're going to ask, what's the funniest thing that happened in school this week? Or what's the funniest thing that happened today? Or what's the funniest thing that happened yesterday? Or what's the funniest thing that happened in the past month? Or what's the funniest thing that ever happened in gym class? And you're going to ask this question, and you're dealing with boys, Robin, so you're going to get the answer, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you're going to hear, I don't know. And you might hear it a lot. But your answer to this is going to be a smile and a quick return. You're going to return that volley, and you're going to say, okay, I get it. You don't know. Now let me ask you this. If you did know, what would be the funniest thing that's happened yesterday? You're going to turn it right back on them. You're going to make them talk, and you're going to do it, with fun, with laughter, and you're just gonna talk. Sometimes you'll find that you're doing most of the talking, and that there are one-word questions, but you can say, okay, Brian, Ray said this. Did you hear that? Do you agree with that? And yes, ma'am. Okay, so why do you agree with that? Why do you think he's right? Or no, ma'am? Really? You don't agree? Why? Tell me why. And if you want to play a short bit of a podcast or a short bit of the audio of a video in your car, or maybe your car has a video thing in it. They can see it where they're sitting, and it'll play a short thing and then ask questions about it. But I would really urge you to lay down the rule on the phones. Okay? I mean, just say, hey, in the car, right here, unless there's an emergency, we're not going to use the phones in the mornings. That, nobody's going to disagree with this. I don't think any parent is going to brace you on this, but it'll be one of the few times in their day that somebody is forcing them to think, that somebody is generating a thought process from them. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen a ton. I mean, there's some awesome teachers, but man, there's a lot of teachers who just don't, they don't activate a thought process in the kids. And, there's so many kids in the classroom that sometimes kids don't have a thought process activated, and even the great teachers don't spot it. So you're going to have a great opportunity in that car, and I urge you to keep after it. I love just, hearing how into this you are, and I hope I've helped a little bit, okay? Hey, thanks, Robin, and I appreciate you listening. I appreciate your question. And I think that'll do it for this week. Okay? Great. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing the tiny bit of mental energy I have for you. Seeking wisdom, making observations, endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, smile while you talk. Shake hands with the kids you meet and make sure you have an answer to the question, should we support bacteria? After all, it's the only culture some people have. And so, until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Stone Ground Oatmeal provided for the cast and crew by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by goodbreeding.edu. With only a web portal, goodbreeding.edu has taught thousands of ordinary people how to display good breeding whether they have it or not. Do your parents live in a cardboard house? Did you grow up flying into a rage at the slightest provocation? Do you know what the word provocation means? No matter. For a modest fee, goodbreeding.edu will teach you to hide every fault you have. Harvard or Yale can be in your future. The online instructors at goodbreeding.edu will teach you how to eat caviar without gagging or without the tiny black fish eggs showing between your teeth when you smile. You'll learn the difference between a Pinot Grigio and a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Perhaps most important of all, our staff is fully versed in the latest methods of diction training. You will graduate having mastered the Thurston Howell III method of speaking with your jaw clenched. So go online and register now at goodbreeding.edu.